grab you a milkshake and a hamburger. You know what? Screw that. Get you some fucking whiskey or some other kind of spirit to celebrate, because we had one hell of an episode of Riverdale last night. Oh, but yeah, this is a review for Riverdale, Chapter 30, The Noose Titans. So if you can't tell by my demeanor, I am celebrating because tonight's episode of fucking Riverdale was fucking awesome. Just fucking amazing. Wasn't perfect, of course, but with some of the episodes we've had over this season, it feels like they finally got their shit together. I am just so happy. What do I mean by getting their shit together? Well, I'll just be honest. This season, they've had a lot of plot threads, little stories that go nowhere and are unresolved, and you ask yourself, what the fuck was the point of that? Tonight's episode seemed like they just cut all those threads. I think someone came in and said, hey, what the hell have we been doing this season? What about all this crap we brought up? What was the point of that? People are still asking us about that. Let's fucking just address all of it. And they did. You know, the main storylines, they were okay. They kind of bounced around. But just ending all of them, all those plot threads was awesome. So like I said, let's just get into the actual stories. Three basic stories. First, Cheryls Rescue. You know, she ended up in the last episode in the monastery of the Holy Sisters of Holy Shit, what the fuck are you doing? You know, being treated to gay conversion. And we saw it tonight, and it's like the most awful thing you probably put someone through, this sort of passive-aggressive bullshit where they have them, you know, they tell Cheryl, you've got to put all these sandbags into one corner of the room. So she does that, you know, exhausted, and then the nun comes in and goes, oh, I meant the other corner. Weren't you listening? And making him watch these fucking bizarre movies from the 1950s or something. I don't know what they were actually watching, because when Cheryl was watching, she started fantasizing about Kevin, of all people. Kevin and Moose down by the riverside. So it's sort of like, what are they trying to set up there? Cheryl and Kevin? You know, that ship's going to go nowhere. It's going to circle around in the pier. I mean, she's supposed to be a lesbian. He's supposed to be gay. And they want to make it look like, you know, she's obsessed with Kevin. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Don't try to make that happen, you know. Cheryl's a lesbian. You don't need to make her pansexual for, I'm guessing, the benefit of us heterosexual men, all right? Her story with Tony, that's interesting enough. You don't need to make her bisexual since she seems more sexy for heterosexual men. I'm perfectly fine with just a straight lesbian story for Cheryl. Anyway, I digress on that. Like I said, she's there. Tony, wants to know where she is, and she gets Veronica and Josie to help her investigate, figure out, you know, what happened to Cheryl. It's a mystery, like a classic Archie story. And, you know, they find out that she's at the monastery for the Sisters of Holy Shit. What the fuck are you doing? And, you know, they go and rescue her because, you know, Kevin told them that they could find her there. Well, no. First, it was Grandma fucking Rose, the MVP of this episode. So she knows that her granddaughters got sent to monastery, the Holy Shit, what the fuck are you doing? And she decides she's going to call her Cheryl's girlfriend, Tony. But, you know, a few episodes ago, she got, you know, thrown down the stairs, so her legs ain't working too well. So she has this thing where she just kind of gets, you know, put in the living room to watch TV all by herself, and her fucking bitch daughter-in-law, Penelope, takes off. She starts thinking, I'm going to go for the phone. You're thinking she's going to call for help. You know, she falls to the floor purposely. Like, she just kind of breathes, and she just jumps off the fucking chair, starts, like, crawling like fucking army style to the phone, calls Tony up and says, listen, my fucking daughter, my granddaughter, I don't know entirely what's going on. I got some senility issues. I mean, she's not saying this, but she's like, she's around here somewhere. You know, they sent her with some fucking bitchy little nuns. That's all I know. Fucking rescue my daughter. And then, of course, Clifford cuts the phone lines. So, but fucking just Danna Rhodes, like, just, I could have seen that all night, like her going for the phone. Just like I said, she doesn't give a fuck what happens to her. She wants to save her granddaughter. fucking MVP, Grandma Rose. So anyway, they find out, she's at the house of the Holy Monastery, and, Veronica, Josie, and Kevin go and rescue her. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into the storylines. Archie with the mob. Hiram's mob buddies show back up, and they want a piece of the action. They want some of that pie, and they try to shake down Hiram. Andre gets attacked, and was something I predicted, I might add, by this guy wearing a black hood. We'll get into that, like I said. Anyway, Archie comes up with a plan where he ends up scaring off the mob guys. And like I said, I'll get more into that story when I get into all these fucking plot threads that they got rid of, which was the best thing of the goddamn episode. Okay, Betty and her brother Chick. Apparently, the police found the car in the pond, and they're all worried that they're going to put things together. And for some reason, Chick goes out. Well, first Betty and, Jughead decided to do some snooping, which, big mistake there. You're letting people know they know about they're curious about that car. They find out through Kevin that, the owner is in town. Chick goes out and finds her, and, she's this total, it basically tells her, hey, your boyfriend, we killed him, and we dumped your car, the car in the lake. This lady decides to blackmail Betty's family, but at the last minute, the serpents come in and scare her off. And, what's her name? Alice is taking stock of all of this. And she goes, Betty, I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. And Chick, get the fuck out of my house. So I'm hoping they ended that, because I'm just so sick and tired of Chick. Half the time he did this psycho, and the other one he's just bawling a little bit. It's like, oh, God. Just didn't work, I'm hoping this is the end of the Chick storyline. But, I mean, they can bring it back a few seasons later, but for this season, I'm hoping they're done with fucking Chick. So anyway, like I said, those are the stories, but that's not what excited me, because each one of these stories, they got rid of a plot thread, a mistake that they made throughout the season, a lot of callbacks. Like, let's take Cheryls Rescue. Remember how Cheryl was obsessed with Josie? Drawing pictures of her, the two of them together, and, giving Josie a severed pig's heart. And then, no sooner do they set up this, Cheryl, she's crazy, obsessed with Josie, then they just forgot about it, and Cheryl's no longer obsessed with Josie. Well, that paid off in this episode, where, it was Tony, Veronica, and Josie. They go to, Penelope, and is like, bitch, what are you talking about? We know she's not in Swiss, at some Swiss boarding school. They had a funny line with that, too, where, Tony's telling them about this. And, Veronica's, well, I know this. There's one school in the Alps. And Tony's like, no, you don't get it. If she went to the Alps, a school in the Alps, she'd be like she'd be posting it all over the place. But her social media accounts have all been dead, have been silent for the last few days. And Veronica's like, oh, that's a sign of foul play. And I'm like, wow. What a statement against the millennial types, or whatever generation is after the millennial type. Young kids today, it's like, she hasn't been on her social media pages for a few days. Oh my God, what happened to her? Anyway, like I said, so the three of them go, they start talking to Penelope, and they're like, hey, we'll go to the sheriff because my mom's fucking her. He goes, well, then maybe you want to take a look at this. Shows Josie the picture that Cheryl had been drawing. He's like, I found all these pictures. She was obsessed with you, girl. And Josie's like, holy shit. Cheryl had a sick obsession with me. Fucking hey, I'm off the rescue team. I'm like, yes, they brought that back, and they addressed it. They didn't forget that they had done that. And that, I appreciated it. Like, there was so much more of that. With the Archie mob story, it's like, remember Agent Adams? This guy who was pretending to be an FBI agent to test Archie's loyalty, and then he disappears. Well, they brought him back in the mob story, where they have him with Andre and Archie, because apparently Hiram, all his henchmen, their names have to start with A's, with the mobsters giving them the shakedown. And then later, he's the one in the black hood stabbing Andre, and they realize he's a turncoat. I'm glad that they brought him up. They didn't just forget, we've got this other guy, Adams. He doesn't do too much for us. He's like, they brought him back just for that. And that was interesting enough. And it begs the question, so is fucking Agent Adams, was he the Black Hood? Was he working for Hiram to, turn Riverdale into, this seedy place where no one wants to move in, drop those prices, those, housing prices down so Hiram can buy it up cheap and then make his prison, make his money? That would just be stupid if that's the case, because the Black Hood, it seemed like he had an obsession with the townsfolk that went back years. So, if they bring back the Black Hood, like I said, it's got to be someone who has some sort of lifetime grudge against Riverdale, and it can't just be this Hiram shit. But anyway, it does break the question, is it, Agent Adams, was he the Black Hood? Maybe we'll find out. Okay, I mentioned that. Okay, so remember how Archie at one time had formed a vigilante group called the Red Circle, where they wore the red hoods, and they were going after the Black Hood? And then next episode, the principal was like, what the fuck is this shit? You need to cut this shit out. No fucking vigilante circle, young man. And then that was the end of that, the vigilante circle. Well, they brought it back in this episode. That's how Archie scares off the mob guys, because, after the attack on Andre, Hiram's like, well, I'm down 2 guys. You're not enough, Archie. We got to give them a piece of the pie. He's like, I got this. So he goes to Reggie, convinces Reggie that, hey, let's get the vigilante circle back together. Let's form the band up. This time, Black Hoods, we're calling ourselves the Darker Circle, and we're gonna go blow up a bunch of mob guys' cars and tell them get the fuck out of Riverdale. Like I said, they brought back the circle now. It's the Dark Circle. Also, Archie brings up some of the shit he had done. He beat the shit out of Nick Sinclair, the guy who tried to rape Veronica and Cheryl. And then brought up, Papa Poltine. He's like, yeah, I had a hand in that. And then he brought back up the kid who they killed, 2 episodes ago. And when they went to the lake house, the local yokels tried to get, do a home invasion. Archie scared one of them off, chased after him. Well, no, Veronica set off the alarm. That scared him off. Archie went after one of them, beats a guy up in the woods. Andre shows up and says, hey, I got this kid. So Archie runs away. Gunshot. They acknowledged that had happened, instead of forgetting about it. And another question, so did Archie kill Papa Poltine? Because he tells this to the mob guys, who I thought killed Papa Poltine. They laughed it off. Hiram told them, no, I didn't kill the guy. And of course, you can trust Hiram. But at this point, I think Hiram would have said, why do you take credit for that, kid? I did that. But the 2 other things that Archie had said were pretty much true. He beat the shit out of the rapist. And he more or less was complicit in the shooting of the hillbilly kid. So when he said he took down Papa Poltine, I'm thinking he took down Papa Poltine. And we'll see. Because like I said, who the fuck killed Papa Poltine? What was the point of introducing that character, killing him off, and then not making a mystery out of it? So, like Circle, Reggie. Okay, that's the mob stuff. Okay, the chick finally finishing that storyline. We see, what's his name? Jughead, him and the Serpents. They now call themselves the Shield. They did that in the last episode, so it's nice to see them bring that back. And the guy who beat up Chick in that one episode, they brought him back because he was with the chick who was blackmailing them. Because, I guess Chick owed him money too. And I had a theory that the guy who got killed was the real Chick. I think in this episode they pretty much said no. He's just some guy called Dwayne. Because, like I said, that was a spot thread that really annoyed me, is how they introduced this guy. He shows up, well, where's Chick? And then Chick kills the guy. They didn't even give him a name. They didn't explain who he was. So I was thinking there was something there, but they just keep kind of ignoring who the fuck was this guy. This episode, they give him a name and they explain, no, he's no one special. He's just some guy who, I guess Chick owed money to. He came collecting. Chick killed him. And then, it sets up the storyline where, his girlfriend comes looking for him. Chick spills the beans. And then they bring in the one heavy guy from, the hotel. And, that they're going to make the life shitty for the Coopers. But then Jughead comes in with the Southside Serpents. And they're like, get the fuck out of our town. Yeah. Oh, okay, so there was one thing that I did think that with that storyline they could have addressed was, what the fuck did Alice do that she left the Serpents and got, arrested for the mugshot? That seemed like they should have addressed that tonight, because after the Serpents save her, Alice is like, you know what? I'm going to quit ragging on the South Side. That's where I'm from. I'm your ally now. My girl, she's sleeping with one of your own. I'm a serpent girl again. It seemed like she could have explained right then and there, you know what happened was blah, 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 blah. I got arrested for, illegally downloading music on, what the hell, Napster. I was looking at some hard time. So I ratted out some serpent guys. No, I didn't rat my people out. I didn't tell them that, the serpents were the ones who put me on Napster. I just got out, man. Because my whole life could have gone down because, I got on Napster and illegally downloaded videos. That would have been cool if that was the story. I'm just saying, it felt like they should have addressed it. When they were, they're just cutting all those goddamn plot threads all over the place. Which I know, it kind of seems like a silly thing to be like, oh, I'm so happy they did. But, like I said, those of us who watch these shows, we don't forget them. And we ask the question, what the fuck was the point of that? And I don't think this episode, it was set up where all of this got addressed. I just think that someone came, like I said, that this was always the plan. It's like, okay, Cheryl will be obsessed with Josie. Mail her a pig's heart. Then we'll stop talking about it, and then we'll bring it up in the episode where they have to rescue Cheryl. No, I think someone came in and said, what the hell is all this fucking shit that happened that you never addressed? Let's just end it now, that's how I think it went down. And that's why I love this episode. One other thing, I'm hoping that this will mean that Reggie will be the student body president, because that's a storyline that makes no goddamn... Well, the thing about the student body president thing that makes no goddamn sense to me is, okay, so now, I didn't realize in the last episode, Jughead said, you know what, I want to run for student body president. Like they're setting it up of Jughead versus Archie, and the battleground's going to be this election. Oh, and Reggie just happens to also be running. He's what, the dark horse candidate? In this episode, they actually kind of used it where Reggie decides he's going to say, hey, Archie, I want the bulldog vote, the jock vote. And they decide to arm wrestle. I'm like, oh, God damn it, Reggie. No, you're going to lose. And then you're not going to be a part of the fucking story. And he loses. But then when Archie needs the muscle, he says, Reggie, check it out. I will make sure that all the jocks vote for you if you help me get these jocks together to scare off these mob people. So basically, I think that means that, Archie, he's done running for vice president. He's going to convince Veronica to do the same. Jughead running for student body president. He's like, that pisses off the Serpents. It's like, oh, you're kissing all these fucking Northies' asses, man. What the fuck? You're a serpent. You can't be the student body president. So it creates this tension between him and the Serpents, which eventually gets resolved when they save the Coopers, and now everyone's friends. So I'm just saying, I'm hoping that's the end of it. Just have Reggie win. Just have Reggie win. Because I don't see why fucking Veronica and Archie, they should have, that be part of their story. They've got the whole mob thing going on. And like I said, Jughead, he's against him. And that seems like those are the stories now. So why do they have to have a student body election? Which really still doesn't make any sense that they would be having it this late in the year, until I thought, well, maybe it has something to do with the fact that the Southside Serpents, all of them came to the high school, so now you have this influx of new students. There's so many of them that they didn't get to take part in the previous election, so now they're doing a special one so that all these new students can vote, which seems pretty stupid and convoluted. But, yeah, it still makes no goddamn sense that they would be having an election this late in the school year. But like I said, maybe that's the reason. Because they explained why they were having a special election for mayor. I just thought because the mayor quit, that they were going to naturally have a special election down the line. But they're like, well, we pushed that off. That was like 2 or 3 episodes where, the mayor quit. And then they decided, oh, now we're going to make, a new mayor, a storyline where, people are running. Who's it going to be? But they're like, well, shouldn't they have already done this? So they came up with this little tidbit where they said, oh, well, the mayor who took over, the deputy mayor, he just assumed the post, because that's, I guess, in the town charter, it's kind of like the presidency. The president resigns, the vice president becomes president. In their case, it's the mayor resigns, the deputy mayor becomes mayor. But then that person decided to quit, so now they have to do a special election. Like I said, that was easy enough explanation. They probably didn't even need it. So like I said, that's all I got to say about tonight's episodes. I see I've gone way beyond what I thought it would, but I just really, really enjoyed tonight's episode.